Not smooth start. Not smooth start. Oh my God. Okay, now
broke
we should
something?
be good.
Did we battle-eye it?
Oh my God. I banned all of you before we could even begin. I'm so sorry.
Whoops. Turns out one or two of us was using stream enhancing software.
Ooh,
So
it's like Ivy though. Like,
Listen, my real voice is like this. I've been using podcast enhancing software for the last
so
7
much
years.
compression.
I'm actually on a recov. This isn't me.
Yeah,
this is a recov interview.
So does that make me a podcast Sherpa?
I don't know, man. I'm looking at the stats for your account, and I noticed after Battle-Eye popped up, your podcast accounts have seen a little bit of some strange activity there, man.
Oh, buddy.
You've had a whole bunch of weird guests telling a whole bunch of weird stories. I don't know, man.
All right, I'll write Deej real quick, and we'll see if I can get any traction going.
That's how you handle that.
He's my uncle. I gotta.
right. That's how you handle that.
Unky
sort of stuff.
Deej.
Save me, Daddy, please. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode, 293?
293
of the Planet Destiny podcast? I guessed. I just had to think about last week's number and move on from there.
We're getting up there, dude.
We're getting it. Almost 300 episodes in, and it's weird to think about.
Yeah.
Real weird to think about. That's a long time to be talking about a single game. 7 years of this game, by the way, because of course we had the 7th anniversary of Destiny 2 this week. Probably going to be talking a bit about that over the course of the show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Planet Destiny podcast, your guide to this week in Destiny. And what a week it's been! We had major changes for Trials of Osiris go into effect. I would say a little over 24 hours into it. Big success. Great success. I think some of those changes have been absolutely fantastic for the game mode. We're going to spend probably the lion's share of the show talking about Trials. Before we get on into that, of course, we've got your usual roundtable of hosts, started with the one, the only Mr. Dan Finity himself, nephew to Deej.
Oh, hello. Oh, you want to? So I'm also a nephew to Claire Danes. Claire Danes is my aunt, and
Okay.
So who was that one popular kid from the Jerry Maguire movies? He had the glasses and the flat top, and he had the lisp, and he was like super cute for like 10 months.
Right.
That guy's also my uncle.
Are we just going to pick popular people?
TBL is also my uncle.
Yeah. Even though we're basically the same age. Listen, don't ask. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's
everybody. I'm the world's nephew. It's fine.
Also joining us is the one, the only Mr. Lightraiser. Good to see you, man.
Hi.
I have been, I've been spying on people, on my friends list. I have a pretty big friends list, especially with Bungie friends and all that kind of stuff, to see who usually isn't in Trials, but has been going into it. And I noticed a lot of fresh accounts. Light's not one of them, but he's been in Trials literally like 24 hours straight. I was a little concerned for you, man.
I made it out of the battlefield.
It's good though. I mean, it looks like you've been having a pretty good time in there.
Yeah, almost 120 games in 2 days.
Yeah, I was a little concerned. Like, man, this dude is still.
I know,
he's
right?
Still playing cards.
Should we do one of those interventions I keep hearing about?
No. This isn't last season. Don't worry about it. I'm
Whole
not
new
suffering
world,
against-
right?
I know, I'm not suffering against cheaters. No red boxes on me yet.
Whole new world. And of course, I am the Black Link. Joining us this week, our special guest host, Lego. Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? So glad to be here with y'all and talk about Trials. Of all the weeks that Dan could message me and be like, hey, man, you want to? Yes, I have to talk about this. I'm so pumped.
I knew it was a good booking.
Yeah, like, you've been a little suspicious with that. Again, back to checking some of those stats there, Dan. Like, your booking has been a little bit weird as of late. Like, how you keep getting the
Lego's
perfect
my
guest
uncle.
for
It
the
was an
perfect
easy
show.
get.
Right, it's just to call down the family tree. Well, right on. Again, welcome to the show, Lego. It's great to have you here. Going to be
Thank
talking
you.
about quite a few things here with trials. Probably going to be talking about some fusion rifle vooping, which you're known to voop a man or two.
Maybe some of
But
that.
a little bit of that. That's a little bit of the spice in the mix. But for those out there who this might be their first time seeing you, why don't we open things up by allowing you to explain who you are, what you do, and welcome you to the show.
Sure. Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm legoleflash. Lego is what everybody calls me. I'm not a streamer or anything like that, but I do make a YouTube video about once a year, going for movie of the week, and that's like my only goal is just make beautiful videos, usually involving fusion rifles, and that's kind of my jam. So did that. That's like a big part of the community for me. Trials, PvP is a huge thing for me, but I love all sides of it. PvE, I kind of like getting the balance take, listening to all the podcasts, Planet Destiny, love you guys. And then I hosted RezoCast for a while. We did about
Yeah.
170 episodes, something like that. So big part of my history in the community there, and being with Resolute and all those guys and gals. And yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Fusion rifles, huge part of my everything. Like I feel like some people are like, well, if you use a fusion rifle this way, I was like, you don't understand. I basically breathe fusion bolts. Okay, so like let me tell you, no, but I'm open to like it's great because fusion rifles are one of those guns that when somebody uses them, it's so personal and it's so like this works for them. And so I love hearing everybody's different takes because like me and True Vanguard both talk a lot about fusion rifles, but we use them very differently. And the
Yeah.
perks that he goes for are often very different than what I go for. So it's a fun segment of the community to be a part of, and everybody's got their own takes, and it's really fun. So yeah, I think that is an all-encompassing what I'm about and where I've been for the last 7 years. Into 7 years, man. 7 years in Destiny.
Insanity.
Yeah. 7 years of this game, 7 years of vooping in the Crucible. So I can't really think of many other weapons in many other games that are anything like the way fusion rifles function in Destiny 2. So what is it about fusions that just kind of attracted you to the weapon class?
Yeah, no, that's really interesting you say that because I feel the exact same way. Sometimes I go to another game and like Apex, for instance,
Yeah.
like whenever I come over there, I'm like all about the energy weapons because it has the pre-charging. Like they have super high time to kill, values, but you've got to pre-charge, and it's all about predicting your opponent. And so that's where my love for fusion rifle comes in and also like. I'm getting older. I'm like 33. There's not like my hands, I'm not always right on the head. And so a weapon that is more about the mind rather than, precision control. I can aim for somebody's kneecaps, and as long as I can predict what they're doing, then I have the upper hand. And so that's really I think what draws me to them. But also they're just really cool. Like
Yeah.
the way that enemies just evaporate when you nail them, even from D1. Like I think one of the things that like got me, not the very one, but like the second one was like had a lot of people disintegrating, like, and just kind of showing that in slow motion. You don't realize all the particle effects that until you slow it down. And I think we see a little bit more of that now that we have 60 frames a second Destiny. You're like, oh wow, there's a lot of detail here,
Yep.
So yeah, just the combo of it looking beautiful and just the being all about the mind play rather than just complete precision. Because of course, like a lot of people will watch a video or a clip that I put up and be like, "Oh, your movement's terrible. You would be dead in 2 seconds with a shotgun or with my 3-tap hand cannon." And you're like, "Yeah, probably so. But if I read the room right, maybe I'd get the upper
I'd
hand."
still get
so,
you.
and I'm all about that.
Yeah, and that's one of the most fascinating things about fusion rifles for me in Destiny 2 is that it's really the one weapon class that can be used in a variety of situations based not so much on the weapon itself, but on how you use it. You want to pre-charge corners with it with a high impact, that's perfectly fine. You want to get up in somebody's face with one of the rapid fire ones, that's now possible with fusions. They work from close range, mid range, all the way to long range based more on how you're predicting motion than basically anything else. I can remember everybody still hates me for it, but Bastion. That's why Bastion was one of my favorite weapons for a long time, because it was just this anti-everything weapon based on how and when you were using it. You could hit long-range shots with it. You could hit close-range shots if you were predicting where that hunter was going to dodge, because of course, anytime they see you pre-charge, they're going to dodge left or right. And it's one of the things that I love about Fusion play in Crucible so much. And it's funny you bring up the criticism there, like, oh, bro, if it were against me, like, you'd be dead in a second in a shotgun. Well, you're free to approach.
Let's
Because
see
you've got a shotgun. There's one thing you're going to do, and I've got a weapon that's perfectly suited for countering that.
Well, it's funny the way, it's evolved over time too, because in the past, like when I ran comp in like one of the very first seasons that I guess the Fusion rifle, like once after Forsaken, and comp came around and everybody's grinding it out. And whenever you got to the higher tiers, when it used to be, the higher tiers, no matter what skill level you're at, it's just like, you just have like Pure Chill and all those guys up there.
Yeah.
And those are the only people at the very top. And so when I was grinding through that, I'd have people literally like on my team be like, dude, are you sure you want to use that? Like, you sure you don't want to put on a shotgun? Like that used to, before Air Intel was popular, before all that, people would go against it. And it's interesting to see the flow over the course of time of it rise in popularity and fall based on nerfs and stuff like that. And even what you were talking about, like hunter movements, I was curious to ask y'all if any of y'all had played with the other new, since the changes, all the other archetypes other than just the high impacts. Because I've found one of my favorite new things is with the rapid fires, being able to actually get a hunter out of their shatter dive before they can shatter. Like that's how fast it charges. And it's just like, oh, so satisfying to not, because previously you're just stuck. They jump in the air like, oh, I'm dead. I already know I'm dead.
That's it. GG.
They start coming down like this, and you're just, all right, all bets are off.
Just pull down your pants. And,
Have
all right,
have y'all tried them out yet? Any of the different archetypes?
Yeah, I used
man.
precisions and adaptives, and plug one when you get that recoil down and just instantly caps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have been
Feels
using
so good.
a Cartesian candidate or
Coordinate.
a Cartesian coordinate.
Yeah.
I've been liking that one, but I'm looking at my dim right now and seeing like Zealot's Reward with a charge time of 444 milliseconds. I'm like,
Yeah.
that might be the play. I might try to mess around with that because I got like a Arrowhead Break, Accelerated Coil, Feeding Frenzy, and Rampage. Maybe that's
Dude.
Yeah.
It's sounding pretty good.
No, and same
A lot
for
of people.
me. Good.
Oh, I was just gonna say a lot of people like all the off-brand fusions that you've never heard of now. People are looking in their vaults and looking at the different types, and they're like, "Oh, dude, like the Gambit one." It starts with a T. I can't remember it right now, but like people just will like, oh yeah, I have this thing in my vault. Oh, it has under pressure. Oh, high impact reserve. And you're like, what is this thing? And then it just like feels so much better than you ever thought. So I think all of them, like you said, TBL earlier, you were like, they all have a place now, and it really feels that way. They're all good for something.
No, absolutely. Like Cartesian coordinate is one that's been popping up a lot as of late, since it's a rapid fire frame that's in all the loot pools right now. So a lot of people are getting it. I ran into that a lot in some of my trials runs this weekend. It just kind of brought a smile to my face, like, oh, look at this. Look at people in Game 7 on trials using rapid fire fusions. What world is this? I love it. I've been playing around. Like one of my favorite weapons in the game right now is Null Composure, which of course was the ritual weapon from a couple seasons back. Still love that. I've got a pretty decent roll of the Cartesian that I've been running around with. Fusions are just all over the place right now, and a lot of them are a lot of fun. Digging it.
It's also fun to see weapons that aren't as popular anymore. Like not seeing Bastion every game has been like, I know it's fun to use, but just seeing that flow come down a little bit, you're like, okay, like we can breathe a little bit more now. We don't not having just knee-jerk reaction every time you hear that charge up.
Yeah, it's not erasing everything across the board anymore. Pour one out for my boy Bastion.
No, it deserves it.
I ran into a Lord of Wolves in trials this weekend, because Lord of Wolves is still good, still slaps, and That was weird. It was right after as a matter of fact, it was right after the game I played with the person who was just running train with Cartesian coordinate. Was not expecting Lord of Wolves. It hurts.
I want to say that I was running into a lot of Lord of Wolves during Iron Banner week. Like
Really?
That was kind of like, oh, okay, so this is back. Like it's kind of had like a mild reintroduction, and then I kept seeing people progressively through the week just picking that up and running with it. So it doesn't surprise me that it's back back on the menu, boys. But it's not my favorite thing in the world.
I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of it because it does have ludicrous range and it's really forgiving with the number of shots you can hit to land a kill with it. And so it's probably going to pick back up now that some of the rapid fire frame fusions are eating people up in close and mid range encounters. But I like it. We're seeing a lot more weapon variety, kind of all over the place now, and it's that fresh sort of feeling you get at the start of a new season when it's like, okay, no idea what the sandbox is going to be this time. I'm seeing all kinds of weapons pop up, and I dig that. I dig it a lot.
That's actually like I feel like I could harp on all the different weapon variety that we're seeing right now and the things that are rising to the top right now. Like I want to get to trial stuff because like there's so much stuff. But I've been using it since last 2 seasons. But Wishender, now that nobody's 3-peaking anymore, dude, it's so good. Just communication and knowledge of where like even if I'm not the best player or you're not solo matching, but if you're with a team and you're like, I'm not the best player, but I can give information using Wishner and be like, okay, 2 on the right, 1 on the left, and your guys know, okay, let's center in on that one guy. It just flows so smooth. Oh, it's so good.
Well, I mean, why don't we go ahead and dive on?
I'm feeling hate rays from Light right now. It's like,
no. too many stag warlocks were pulling that shit,
bro.
Oh, really? I didn't run into one other Wishender that my entire last 3 days of playing. That's so interesting that you saw a lot of them.
Yeah, it's funny. We'll just go ahead and jump on into the trials conversation since we're basically here anyway. But as I wasn't the biggest trials guy before this season. I played it a couple times. I decided to go ahead and hop on into it this weekend. Had a great time. Got to 7 wins way faster than I thought I would. It was like within 45 minutes that I had finished my card and was like, "Whoa, wait, I'm done." Damn, I only lost 1, and I lost on game 6. I was solo queuing, and I get to game 6. The game's like, all right, no more easy plays. Here's this triple stacked fire team. That was when I ran into the game with the hunter with the Lord of Wolves. Ate me alive. But got to 7 wins really quickly. Had a lot of fun with it. Got a ton of rewards. Went back and was like, you know what? That was fun enough and quick enough. I'm going to go ahead and get another card and do it again. So I went, got a second card, and finished that one, and I'm contemplating doing a third. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me to think that me, a guy like me, is way more of a PvE guy. I like PvP. I'll play PvP all day, but wasn't really a big trials dude. I don't have a static of people to pull together to run trials every weekend. I got a chance to dive in, get the Trials of Osiris experience, almost went flawless my very first card. Yeah. And walked away with a ton of rewards that just blows my mind. I think Bungie has made some fantastic changes to the game mode, and we'll go through some of those changes really, really quickly here. But I do want to say, bravo to Bungie. Bravo. The changes they've made here have made an incredible impact on the Trials of Osiris game mode. The weekend tournament has had more players in the first day than it ever had in D2's history. We're talking millions of people were in Trials in the last couple of days. And you feel it when you go into the playlist. You absolutely feel it when you go in there. Of course, the Battle Eye implementation seems to have helped a little bit. But I did want to say it was funny. Since I didn't generally play Trials, didn't really party up for it, I had no idea what exotic to bring in as a Warlock. And so I get a couple games in, and it's like, okay, well, this isn't too bad. Let me see what my friends are wearing. Because I saw Fallout was on. It's like Stag. Oh, no. Stag. Oh, Stag. Why are they wearing the...
Yep.
Oh. I became a scumbag. I was the biggest Rift Daddy scumbag in Trials.
Embrace it.
You
then
can't
I'm just gonna
stop
put on my
me.
Rift Runner and yeah.
Oh,
you sure about that?
I was seeing a lot of posts about just use Risk Runner to head him off at the pass.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to dive in at all this weekend. I was planning on doing so a little bit before work today, and then didn't. And so, but I've been seeing a lot of people in my Discord, which is mainly like a PvE community, get
Yeah.
really excited, like really excited about Trials, to the point where I think one team went flawless on their first go, like
Oh,
just
Yeah.
out the gate.
Yeah.
So kudos to them.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Some of these changes have been fantastic. Really quickly, one of the changes that they made, of course, is solo matchmaking is now a thing. You can matchmake for Trials of Osiris, whether you're a solo player, duos, or if you got a triple stack. If you're the triple stack, then, well, you're playing it like you always played it. That's a big thing. They've changed the way cards work so that losses don't really matter so much unless you're trying to go flawless. It's no more losing a single game and then having to restart your card. You're still getting rewards just for playing the game mode. If you get up to 7 wins, you can keep playing on that same card for an enhanced chance at getting upgrade materials, at getting weapon drops, adepts, and all that kind of stuff, which is fantastic incentive to get people into the game mode and keep them playing, rather than just having the sweatiest 3 stacks farming low card kills over and over and over again. They've lowered the time of the rounds from like 90 seconds to what is it, 60? Is it a little over 60?
120 to 90.
Which is great, makes the game mode go way faster. A lot of these changes have made it much more friendly to people who would never step into Trials of Osiris, and you're really seeing the effects of that here. It's a much more rewarding game mode. And I have Trials report pulled up because they've just been throwing stats out all weekend, and it's mind-blowing. Yesterday morning, some of the stats they put up were that there were over 2 million solo players who had match made into Trials. Unbelievable number. There were 400,000 teams of duos and 1 million trios, meaning we had twice as many solo players in there in a just solo matchmaking as there were teams triple stacked in there. These are unbelievable player numbers for a game mode that's never seen anything like this before, and I think the numbers generally speak for themselves for how well these changes are being accepted.
And just like all the things that you hear on Twitter and having Reddit be overwhelmingly positive posts right now about Destiny and Trials in particular. There's even there was even one post that was like, Bungie, why did you do this? I have like Trials is my one thing I could always complain about, and I can't. Like, it's great.
So I guess we'll Lego. We'll start with you. How was your experience in Trials this weekend?
Oh my gosh, dude, it was so like. One of my friends, Wilson, was having just a super down last few weeks, and whenever we jumped on to play, when the night was over, he was like, guys, I needed this. This was just incredible. Just playing with your friends, like not having it like, yes, we ran into some hard games that were like people just going for it, which is great. Like I want that experience too, just personally, you know, but also like pulling through those games and then just having a blast goofing off afterwards and getting just showered with loot. Like it was an incredible experience. And then the next day, it was quite a bit different for me. Like I felt that new matchmaking kick in. I just went in solo just to just see, and it was after going we played like 33 games and only lost like 2 or 3 of them. And so the next day it was like, you're gonna face like some really difficult players, and it's cool. Like I'm like, I deserve, like it felt good to me. I know there's a lot of people that are gonna feel differently about that, but I love personally that there's 3 different ways to approach it now. You can go for flawless. And if you go flawless and you want to keep sweating it out for great rewards, you can stay on that card and keep getting showered with adept weapons. And I was like,
fantastic.
I can't believe how many are dropping. And then that's one way to go about it. If you're like, I just want to go. And then there's maybe I'll make it flawless, but I still want to keep grinding for stuff. Yeah. And so you go flawless one time maybe, and then you can keep getting that 7-win card and re-rolling more adepts that way too. It takes longer, but it's not as stressful. And then there's the third way where you just want to get wins. You just want to have a good time. You don't care about Adept or the Lighthouse. You just want to go in and solo. Maybe you're afraid to match with other people. Maybe you don't have that much time. And you you know, it's your lunch break, or it's like it's at night and you're done with work. You just put your kid down and you just want to chill and not talk to anybody and get some rewards. You can do that too. Make it all the way up to 7 wins. Even if you don't go flawless, you got a ton of rep and trials gear. And I tried playing all those different ways and it was great. It was amazing. I'm so impressed.
No, absolutely agree there. There's and that's the big benefit of this. You know, there's a bunch of different ways to play trials that are open to basically all the categories of players. The super sweaty teams can farm up adepts, upgrade materials, and all that kind of stuff now on their flawless card if they want to. The more casual player can jump in, get a couple of wins, get a couple of losses, still get loot, build up reputation because we have a trials engram now you can go and pick up for rep rewards at Saint 14, and that engram even comes with the opportunity to focus it like we do with the umbrals. There's something that's offered for basically every type of player with trials now, which I think is probably the best thing Bungie could have ever done for the game mode. Absolutely. Lightrays, what about you, man?
Just having people in there.
Yeah, it's great. It's that the main problem with trials is that every weekend you were seeing the same 5 dudes because there were only 5 people playing it. Light Racer, what about you, man? Mr. Trials himself.
Yeah, so Trials definitely an experience. Like, I was definitely feeling the matchmaking changes. Like, the more, like, especially the last, what is this? The last 7 games I played were this morning, literally like 4 cards. I was not matching teams at all. It was
really
trying to do a help, get someone flawless, like every single game, just solos, like in the morning. Around 4 o'clock, teams start getting on. And that's when it was like the hardest card, and not the most fun, but I mean, no red boxes on me that I know of, so still infinitely better.
Yeah. So play in the morning.
Play in the morning.
Really, it's play with the new changes. I feel like it's going to be help people first, play with your like solid team later, which is kind of opposite of what everybody's used to doing. Because the way the matchmaking is like if you play with your super rock solid team, like if you are a trials person, you know, and you play with your team that's like, oh, they go hard, you know, then when you try to play with like your friends later, it's like going to be a lot more difficult. Whereas if you play with your friends and chill first, then you're like more like PvP heavy team will be able to handle what comes next, basically.
Right. Yeah.
So you're saying
which is difficult for if well I there's another side to that which Light maybe you'll touch on this. I was kind of feeling maybe you might go here, but I'm not sure. But like the side of for streamers that do trials carries, it does make it harder for them, which I feel for that, you know, while also like there's so many people in there and everybody's having so much fun. There's that side of it, but there's also like these people love helping people, and it does make it harder to help people once you've been in there for a bit.
Yeah, so I think if a streamer is trying to do like a double carry, they're definitely gonna want to do that on Friday or Saturday. Yeah, like the best I got for a double was 5 wins, and then started matching full fire teams. So singles, like 2 good people with good chemistry, with one person that's probably either still learning, not as good, definitely possible.
Yeah, that was about my experience too. It was around game 5, game 6 that I started running into triple stacks, and of course that is the thing. That's one of the things that sparked a lot of conversation this week. Was that solo players? If you do use the solo matchmaking, you will get matched up eventually against other people who are in a party, and I saw some complaints about that, but I understand why it's that way. If Bungie were to introduce a freelance playlist for trials, I think it'd be an interesting idea. But it would kind of just go back to what we had before, where like the people who are joining trials in a stack of 3 are going to have an extremely limited player pool of all the people who were previously playing trials. And with Bungie's goal of expanding the player pool of trials here. I doubt they're going to be implementing that change anytime soon.
Yeah, the other side to that, and I actually talked with Pino about this. Bungie
Yeah.
does not. That the reason why they're doing the freelance labs is because of like people leaving early in the game
Yeah.
for all solos. If that like if Trials becomes a solo only playlist, or they split the population into solos and teams only, you're never like it's gonna be so hard for someone to go flawless in the solo playlist.
Yeah.
It's gonna be because you have to get lucky and hope you don't get two people that might not be aiming in the right direction.
Or it could go the other way too, where like only the good players are going to be the ones making it flawless. You know, like
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now, I feel like there's a better chance going in with known teams that like can help each other and stuff. Whereas if everybody's solo and then the good players can make up for the not good players on their team, and those people will get the wins in the row that they need to go flawless. And so my concern is that if we'll see. Obviously, they're testing it out with labs, later
Right.
on. But my concern is that once they do that, and there are a bunch of players who want it, then that split in the playlist will cause people like me, who like I'm not like the best player in the world, but I'm like an above average player. And if I know that I don't have that much time, and it's easier for me to go in the solo playlist and do better than facing 3 stacks of just like elite players in the main one, then I'm
Yeah.
gonna just play by myself and not play with my friends. And I don't want that for anyone. I want people to play
Right.
with other people, and so that's what I like. But I get the like there are people that will just never team up with anyone, and they want a playlist for themselves. So it's tough. It's tough on
tough.
Bungie, I think.
That's gonna be a weird thing for them to have to address in the future, because I think they're gonna be really wary of breaking up the population too much, because they don't want to get into the situation that they had before.
Right.
So we'll just have to see what they do there, because like there are legitimate reasons for wanting to have a solo only playlist, or something more solo player friendly. But when it comes to a game mode like Trials, I wonder, just gonna have to see how they kind of fix that out in the future. I have no idea what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I have no idea how you fix that to everybody's satisfaction.
I have no idea how they figured out even what they just did with
Yeah.
all the ways to get
Yeah.
rewards.
Like that's what seems astounding to me, is that like you had so many voices from so many loud voices from the Twitter community of like, here's
Yeah.
how you fix it. Here's how you fix it. And that like you can tell that they took like some of those suggestions and ran with it. But like if I saw like overwhelmingly positive feedback on this, and that's not something that I thought I'd see in Destiny 2 at least. And so when it comes to like the Crucible Labs bit and breaking up the player pool, I think they've also made a really good future-proof decision to like keep Trials off when Iron Banner comes around.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And
I think that works.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
trying not to dilute too far in any one direction, it seems, and they're finding this nice middle ground. So
Mhm. Yeah, I think now that we've had our first weekend of it, I think keeping Trials and Iron Banner separate was indeed the right choice. I think that was the best thing for the health of both of those game modes, so that you didn't have Iron Banner basically cannibalizing anybody who would be considering going into Trials that weekend, because it absolutely would have.
And also the not doing it the first weekend of a season too, taking a
Yeah.
week off, because
Yeah.
look at how many weapons
Yeah.
were just like, whoa, this is way too strong. And they immediately took them out, retuned them. Like it was so fast, which the speed of these changes
Yeah.
is incredible. Like the new exotic that had the tracking on it and they just took it off. And now, it doesn't do that in PvP. That was incredibly fast. Of course, Telesto, had to break something again, but
We almost thought it got away. Like we almost thought everything was safe with Telesto, and then at the last minute, it's like, oh, here's your super bro.
Uncle Telesto always breaks stuff at the family reunion.
But not the only thing that's kind of been acting a little funky as of late. I noticed a lot of Vex Mythoclast in Trials.
Oh my gosh.
So
I don't get it. Like that burnout is not the map for Vex when people are roaching outside so often.
Yeah,
so
But it maps.
Yeah.
It maps.
It
though.
maps.
Like so
Yeah.
far away. So
I'm looking at the trials report right now.
Mhm.
The number one weapon with 6% of kills in Trials of Osiris this weekend, Vex Mythoclast, with 4,816,364 kills at the time of our recording this.
4 million.
With the closest competitor being less than half of that, or being almost exactly half of that, the Ace of Spades at 3% with 2.4 million.
Yeah, there's a maybe Bungie wasn't kidding when they said that they wanted to wait to buff Vex until everybody had it.
well, it's crazy because don't only like 5, 6, it's not even like 5 because only like 10% of people play raids or something like that,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah,
only
it's a small percentage.
1 to 2% actually have it. So how are there so many kills with it in trial? I was like, that's like mind-boggling.
It's one guy.
Yeah, it's one guy getting 4 million kills.
It's like Light Razor, it's you, isn't it? It's you.
No, I don't have any kills with Vex this weekend. What do you mean?
It's good though, man. I mean, even without the catalyst, it's a really strong option.
Yeah, but just the way people have played this weekend that I've matched on PC, because like all my games have been on PC. Like,
Yeah.
I don't mess with the sticks anymore. It's mostly been Shayura's. Oh,
A lot of Shiura's wrath.
yeah, like
Mm.
that is. I see that as being just a stronger, like just base weapon than Vex, like on this map specifically. Like I've gotten torn up. Like, oof.
Yeah, I mean, Burning Shrine has always been a good close range, mid range map. I think it's kind of interesting that that's the first map we got for Trials this season. It's,
That's
like
good.
the OG. But
Good. I liked it.
I was running into a lot of Ace of Spades, and Vex can pretty easily outrange most hand cannons. And anytime
the
I had a
changes?
team that was, yeah,
Yeah.
Vex maps, bro. And it
It's
gets
crazy.
worse when you've got the catalyst for it, because it makes itself more stable. I mean, it's already super stable now without the catalyst, but with the
Mhm.
catalyst, it makes itself more stable with the bonuses that it gives itself. But I'd
Is
say yeah.
DMT still a thing on PC?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
knew that was before a really huge thing, and with these changes and stuff, is it right up there
Yeah.
with Vex or not as much?
No,
Okay.
not like it's. If someone puts on DMT, it's only because they're gonna be outside
Mhm.
Yeah, they're gonna
Okay.
be camping
or
the beach.
laning the rotators.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
cool. I tried to get a little bit of feel of everything. Like I play on PS5 usually, and my first team was PS5. Then I solo matchmake, duo matchmake, and then I had a team that was crossplay with PC for a little bit. And it was
Yeah.
interesting to see because I did face a DMT, and I was like, "Oh, this feels so different than facing it on console," you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vex was still wild regardless. But it's just interesting to hear what it's like on the different platforms. But I didn't run into anything that was like suspicious, which was awesome. So I didn't feel like I felt like, oh, this is fine. I can crossplay on PC. It was great.
Yeah, isn't it nice, Light, to go into trials and not immediately run into cheating?
There were 4 people that were a little suspicious.
Little sus,
Yeah,
little sus.
just a little sus. You know, 1.0 KD playing at a 4.0 with an 80% headshot ratio with a sniper.
Had really weird situational awareness.
Yeah.
Was singing
Yeah.
"Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious" the
Oh,
entire
yeah.
time.
Yup. Just like, but you do notice, like, we spent like what, a year and a half, almost 2 years, like playing cheaters. Like we know
Yeah.
Yeah.
most of the telltale signs, but
Mm-hmm.
PC, like, it's either most snipers are either on a controller or might be getting a little help. It's a bit.
It's just called a specialized aim assist. They're getting
Yeah.
some specialized aim assist.
Yes, specialized aim assist. Indeed.
There was something comforting about the, people you facing. Like maybe there were people on Recov's account, but like knowing that people, it's not going to be as much of an issue. And maybe if it keeps going, it'll like kind of go down a little bit. Like I can kind of trust things a little bit more, even just mentally, like I'm playing against this person who is this person,
Yeah.
it was nice for me at least. Cause sometimes you're facing a team, you're like, there's just no way these people are this good all the time. Like this
This
is
weird
crazy.
blueberry who's got like blue armor on. There's no shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look up his name. This is literally his first game in Trials. This is his first game in the Crucible. No shot. He's landing every headshot with a sniper.
I was also curious with the rewards. So we talked a little bit about, just the rain of loot that we get, the different ways that you play. What
Yeah.
about the focusing system and, how you can focus the adepts or you can focus this other set of weapons?
Yeah.
Do y'all like that or do y'all think that's cool?
I love
Yep.
it.
Agreed. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Anytime you can do that in Destiny, they like it feels good. Like at the end of raids, we got kind of the first taste of that with raids, really.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So like that I really enjoy that system overall. And I want it to come to Iron Banner. I want to get there.
That's what everybody's saying.
You know what? I think it is. They talked about wanting to revamp Iron Banner as a game mode and Lord Saladin as a vendor in one of the TWABs last season. I am 100% convinced they're going to make this change with Lord Saladin in the future, and that's a fantastic thing. It's this new system of being able to focus your engrams, along with all the other changes that make Trials way more rewarding than it used to be. It does such a better job of respecting people's time than Trials used to do. Whereas you used to be able to run through that game mode and not get really anything great and have to basically start a whole new card to get in there and get a chance at stuff. Now you get rewards from match completions. You get rewards from going flawless. You get rewards from hitting 7 wins and continuing playing. You get rewards from reputation. You get those engrams, and then any gear that you've already unlocked, that you've already received as a reward, you can now focus your Trials engrams towards. Meaning, you didn't get to your perfect Shayura's Wrath the first time? Well, that's alright if you've got the resources. And focusing does cost a hefty amount of resources. 100% worth it, in my opinion. You can go in there, you can re-roll, you can try to get the roll that you want. It's so much better, so much more rewarding than the game mode used to be. And I think it's one of the things that's keeping people playing right now. 2, 3, 4 cards in. It's just so much more rewarding than it was before.
Do y'all know if because this is it's funny every single time that I'm like, oh, there's this one thing I'm not sure about or I don't like or I think I don't like or something like that, then I'm like I can also see the other side. I'm like, well, I can understand why Bungie did that though. And my thing for this one is the loot that is available, it's like a select like thing of loot. If you've already done a ton of trials, you can see the loot there, but like the fusion rifle isn't there. That there's certain things that aren't there, and I'm like, is that a week by week thing, or is it just because there's new versions of those with new perks, and so they don't let you get like I'm not sure which way it is. I'd assume it's just week to week, which is the way a Nightfall is. You only get a certain weapon at Nightfall, per week, so it makes sense to match it to the PvE model. But that's the one thing is like, oh, I have all these engrams and I just want to like re-roll a sniper to get a new perk or re-roll a fusion, but there's certain things you can't get. But I understand too, it's pretty perfect the way that it is. I want to be thankful for what I have. That's just the one thing I'm like, oh, if I could just re-roll anything, that would be great, but it's okay.
I'm actually not too sure about like what weapons came through because that actually might be like all the weapons for trials this season because because when I looked at like all those weapons, most of them had new perks. Like for some reason they gave rangefinder to Eye of Soul.
Yes, they did.
And put it in the same slot as snapshot and opening shot.
Oh my gosh.
Gotta keep you chasing the carrot, man. One way or another.
Somebody at Bungie is just like, what's gonna keep Light Razor in for 128 games? What's gonna keep him in?
Let's mess up his perk pool.
Is that what you've been doing all weekend? Have you just been re-rolling that one sniper?
Oh,
over
oh
and over?
no! I still have the snapshot opening shot that you can't get anymore. I still have that one.
Ooh, yeah,
But no, like Shayura, like you can roll Harmony on it now, which like
yes.
as a SMG to pair with a sniper, that's a perfect perk. Like
Mm.
if you're banning Shayura like as a primary, use kill clip, but if you're using it like I want to see like people used to use Recluse, but that's not how people used it. Maybe on controller, it's how they use Recluse.
Body shots,
Um,
bro.
but it really, oh my god, Harmony as a perk is just so good.
Yeah, it's a good perk.
Now you're making
So
me want to use it now. You're making me want to like, could I match my ISOL and use Shayura's? And that sounds good. I like it.
Right, but you've got a point about the availability of the weapons there for focusing, because I think right now it's Shayura's Wrath, Eye of Saul, Messenger, the hand cannon, Soulless Scar, and then the linear fusion, right? There might be one
Yeah.
more thing in there.
uh,
I don't remember, but Astral Horizon's not in there. The fusion rifle's not in there. So I do wonder if they're going to bring that back later this season, or if these are just the weapons that are available right now for the entirety of this 4 or 5 or 6 month season.
I would not be surprised if they actually did like some mid-season they do a refresh. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if they actually do it.
Like around the 30th
Yes,
celebration.
Yeah,
That'll be
that's
a way to
exactly it.
revamp that.
A lot of speculation.
Maybe
around
I'll
that.
finally get a stasis fusion rifle. Maybe they'll move it to the kinetic slot because that's where all the stasis weapons are going. Huh?
Ooh,
Huh?
that'd be nice. We need another non-bastion kinetic fusion. So speaking of rewards, I guess we can cap off the trial section with this. Did anybody walk away with any decent rewards this week?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
The smile cracks out. What'd you get, man?
Give me a sec. I gotta bring up the vault.
I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well,
I finally got a Desperado Messenger, so that was nice.
It's nice.
While you guys are looking for that, I know several people in my community in the Discord had talked about like getting full like armor sets just from playing.
Oh right.
Nim did.
Yeah.
Nim got a
yeah.
full set of armor just from doing his like one card.
Which is huge. That's
It's
great.
fantastic. Yeah. But I finally got a decent Desperado Messenger. It's not the outlaw Desperado variant that bus, but a extended barrel, high cal, Zen moment Desperado. That's good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I got decent one of those, decent Eye of Saul. I'm still rolling for a good Shayura's Wrath. I didn't get any one of those that was worth mentioning, but pretty good rewards and a full set of armor, which for going in and playing for an hour and walking out with the full trial set for my Warlock.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. I give a thumbs up for that.
Okay, I got a few rolls here. I got one, the new linear fusion.
Yeah.
Reed's Regret. Got a clown cartridge Vorpal with arrowhead, an enhanced battery.
Ooh.
So feeling pretty good about that. And then that was like my first roll too, and I was just like, I'm done. That's it, you know.
Yeah, no more.
And then just the Reign of Adepts. Up getting there were 2 or 3 different ones here. I got a Heating Up Harmony one that has max range or really close to it, like 99 range. So that is pretty awesome. But the 2 that I'm like, they don't have perfect stuff, but just these roll combinations of Kill Clip and Killing Wind together on an Adept Shira's, and then Tunnel Vision and Kill Clip, which both affect the reload. Like, when you get a kill and reload, I'm just like, oh, that would work so well together. So I'm curious to try those out.
Right on. What about you, Light Razor?
Yeah. Killing Wind Kill Clip, which was better than the Shayura's I had months ago. Killing Wind Harmony with good range, Reeds with Vorpal, like a couple of them.
Mm.
That's another thing. When Reeds is Adept, that thing, like, because Adept Big Ones is a thing, like, that is probably going to be the linear fusion for GMs, raids, everything, because you can get triples to have Vorpal. Like,
I don't know,
that
man.
got, like, that might be close to this population for how good of a workhorse that's going to be against champions and everything.
Yeah.
But have you tried 1K lately?
Oh, you mean the do everything gun?
Yes, but
It farts
There's,
out damage, Light Razor. It farts out damage.
okay. Oh, listen. What is it? Focusing lens.
Oh
and
yeah,
Font
Yeah.
of Might. You like if you're the person priming it, you can't use 1K if you're trying to do hang on.
Well, also on top of that, though, which I think this is the other direction, but I was reading
Oh,
that
sorry.
you're good, man.
because yeah, I'll let Light keep going.
I actually lost my train of thought.
Okay, here I got you. This is the other side, Light, but I think that because that this new one, Reed's Regret, is stasis, it doesn't stack with is it focusing? Is that the one that gives the light abilities extra damage if you're in a rift or something like that?
Makes you
Or is
deal
that
more
a
damage
different one?
to
It's Font of Might.
stasis. Yeah.
Okay, so the state, because Reed's is stasis, for some reason it doesn't count as a like light ability attack whenever you're in a Warlock Rift, so it doesn't stack the way the other Threaded Needle would or something like that. That's what I was reading. You know,
Right.
I'm not as big into PvE, so I'm not sure if that's completely accurate. But
From
I'm
what
like,
I
oh no,
understand,
because that would be the best.
From what I understand, it's not the focusing lens that's the problem. It's Font of Might,
Font
the
of Might.
well mod.
Quantum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that thing stacks with other buffs.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it
it
have
does.
to be the same subclass, which is
Right.
why, like, if you're the one priming focusing lens, you can't everyone in the well, you can't use a 1K. You're not
Yeah.
gonna get the bonus.
You got to have a
I
stasis weapon.
But the Font of Might strat is like you're going the extra mile for like just to say you one phase Atheon. Like
Yeah.
you're going way out of your way to try to like just make a clip of something like nuking a boss.
That's my build this
I have
season.
to say that. No, it is.
Yeah, font of it's Font of Might. You want to throw in like stacks on stacks. If you're using fusions, then something like Quick Charge is something to quickly get you with or hit with charge with light. And then what is the other one? Elemental Armaments, I think is what it is. And as long as you're using weapons that match your subclass, you're giving yourself buff on top of buff on top of buff. You can even throw in like a high energy fire into that as well to give yourself a pretty big buff. And when let's say you're running Solar Warlock, you can go Vex Mythoclast, and then what is that linear fusion? Corsair's Wrath, a decently rolled Corsair's Wrath, which is solar, and just give yourself a 200% damage buff on Vex and poop on everything. Or if you want to run 1K, you give yourself a supercharged 1K. If you've got somebody running focusing lens and tossing out the stasis stuff there while you're in your well, it's disgusting damage. Absolutely disgusting damage. My favorite build.
Amazing.
I like it. Well, there's one
Yeah,
other
I've
build
been-
that I really like. It's a Titan
My
build,
build
where
this
you turn
season-
into a Warmind cell.
Oh, dude. Okay, so I've been using the PvE build for Hammer Titans. I know it's super broken
Yeah.
at first. It was just like, but it still is very broken with some Synthoceps, and you're
Yep.
just running in tractor cannon. But now I didn't think of the Fawn of Might thing. That what's the sidearm that stasis that like cryosthesia or whatever, where you can free.
Cryognesia? Yeah.
Yes. So take that, add it to the Font of Might by freezing somebody, and then the hammer does like a ton more damage on top of Synthoceps, on top of the 3 times. I'm like, that could be really fun with wells every time you kill something with a hammer. I think I'm going to try that next.
There's a lot of build options in the game right now. Like that's
Yeah.
something Bungie has really leaned into in the past couple of seasons. Really, since Beyond Light became a thing with the enhanced stasis options with aspects and fragments, they're really allowing you to make your own specific build to do different things. And it's been something new basically every season.
Mhm.
I love it. They're leaning into that sort of RPG kind of thing where you can build the type of character you want to be, and it's created some pretty silly combinations. I love it. Well, all right. I mean, I guess that caps off the trials discussion. What else did we have to talk about this week?
Well, I mean, we can talk about Telesto just breaking everything again.
You thought you were safe. You thought you were safe. You thought the Telesto had been taken care of, that it had been cowed, that it wouldn't come back, and boom, right before trials drops, it shows back up like Mike Myers. It got disabled though.
Yeah, including the mod that
including the mod you could use to charge up a super in seconds. It's always Telesto. There's always going to be something with it.
Always.
Yeah. Other than that, I think we didn't really have a ton of news.
Yeah.
But we did have one other thing outside of trials that I want to talk to you guys about, just to gauge what your thoughts are on it before we get into audience questions. So, Paul Tassi put out an article on the 9th. Destiny 2 is staffing up for a massive film and TV expansion of the universe. So, we've kind of known this in the past when they hired on an executive from CBS onto the board. We knew that we'd probably be seeing more media from them. And this is a question that we've been asked several times on the show. But I would like to see like some fresh perspectives from people who don't get to hang out here all the time, right? So Lightrazor, Lego, if we were to get what would be your dream Destiny media project that happens outside of games, outside of like, what would it be? Outside of what we've already had?
Destiny anime.
Destiny anime?
Dude.
Yeah.
It's not outside the realm.
I feel like I would love to have the what's the Neil Blomkamp? He did a trailer for Halo like way back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? That was like all live action, realistic, dude. Something like that, but come to fruition for Destiny. You know, that it doesn't even have to be, and that was like Master Chief style. You know, it would be cool just to have some random Guardian born just like you are, like you're just some random guy, but actually give them, you know, a story, because we're not putting ourselves in their shoes this time, and give them a fleshed out story of their Guardian story. It can intermingle with the main cast that we know and love, but that would be awesome to just see a live action, really raw and gritty solo thing. I don't HBO style, just, you know.
The Wire, but Destiny 2.
Miniseries, yeah.
So we did get something kind of like that. I thought I remembered this correctly, and I just Googled it while you were speaking on this. So the director Jordan Vaught Roberts, who did Kong Skull Island, did one of the Destiny 2 live action trailers right at the beginning, the one where the Warlock just kind of spins up and does the Dawnblade real quick. It's beautiful. Yeah, that was one of the earliest ones. I'm gonna pop that in chat here because that was just something else.
It has a scene in there too where they're like, it's like a specific hallway scene where all their supers go off. I specifically remember the Sentinel Titan running through that hallway, and I'm like, that was just, the lights of it was so cool.
Yeah.
Going off of Lightrazor's anime call there, I mean, we've seen like Netflix series for like Castlevania. I could definitely see something along those lines, like an anthology series for Destiny.
Please.
Absolutely.
There's so much they could do with that.
And you know, even like you say there, an anthology series where it's just a series of disconnected stories from throughout the universe. I could see an episode on the Battle of Six Fronts. I could see an episode on Twilight Gap. I could see an episode about the day the Traveler went inactive. All kinds of stuff. The sky is literally
Yeah.
the limit here, and now that they're making a serious branch off into media, I think it'll start with something animated. I absolutely think it's going to start with something animated. Whether or not we'll see it on Netflix, who knows? They seem to greenlight everything, so we've got at
Until
least
they
a
don't.
50-50 shot. Yeah, they greenlight it and then they cancel it, so it's a 50-50 there.
Oh, they get 3 seasons. They get a good shot.
You get a good 3 seasons, and then there you go. But yeah, I think a Destiny anthology series. Oh my! Could you imagine an episode or 2 dedicated to the Books of Sorrow?
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Lore, baby,
And
lore.
and like, that's great that you're thinking of the big moments too.
Mhm.
Like, I'm thinking of like, you just like one episode is just like a very quiet slice of life of like a hunter out on
Yeah.
patrol,
Yeah,
and like them stumbling upon like vandal camps or something along those. Like, you could tell all sorts of stories in Destiny. That's the kind of worn in universe that it is.
right.
And I think this kind of opens the doors to tell any type of story within it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as we get an episode or 2 dedicated to cooking with Drifter.
Here's how you make hive jerky.
They've made some weird stuff, and I love it.
Hive, bring some barbecue.
Bring some barbecue, some Worcestershire. It ain't gonna taste good.
This is a little rough. No, yeah, it always is.
That's called a cultured meat. All right,
Oh.
Uncle Drifter.
Oh, I forgot he was my uncle too. All
He's
right,
your uncle too.
yeah. Shall we get into some audience questions?
Let's do it.
Perfect. So Tywin asks, with the new trial system, how much of the new system is needed for Iron Banner, and what tweaks does it need for that game mode?
I think the focusing part is like,
Key.
yeah, the focusing thing is key. Like being able to, because tokens, they need to go. I used to keep like
Yeah.
13,000. I burned them once good weapons came out. I didn't spend tokens for like a full year and did every single bounty for Iron Banner for a
Yeah.
full year. Yeah, the system, like they've done away with it for literally everything else except Iron Banner. I think weapon wise they just have to, they have plenty of weapons now. They can just swap it out every season.
Agreed.
But Iron Banner doesn't have adept weapons or anything close to it
Mhm.
yet. So that is something that needs to be looked into, because otherwise it's fine if Iron Banner doesn't get adept stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
if it's just a pinnacle thing every month, like in and out, farm up what you want. Like you don't have to go for like perfect. Oh, the super hard bounty like cap 200 zones, which most people. Did you see the PvP stats people were posting? Like
Oh
I
yeah.
saw Joey had like
Yeah.
less than 1,000 for all.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's why I don't play with him ever for Iron Banner.
that was a whole
Killing
weird
is
thing
an
in the
objective.
community. That was a whole weird thing in the community this week, where like somebody's trying to shame someone for slaying out instead of capturing zones, and it's like, the
Yeah.
fuck? Why?
Like the objective is to kill.
It's just as important.
It's
the-
just as important.
It is well. So it is the cookie that sheathes the Oreo cream of the kills, or the getting zones. All of that is the cookie.
Yeah.
You eat the cookie.
Like
Oh, man.
don't look at the person who got 70 kills on your game and shame them because they have 3 caps. They carried all of the points of your team.
That's
You
I
sit
feel
there,
like-
you shut up, you take zones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give myself away a little bit here, but the few times that I'm in like a stack team running an Iron Banner trying to get the quests done, I do end up a lot of times not capping zones, and
Yep.
as a team not capping, because otherwise you stomp and you don't even get your super up in time. to like get the quest done. So you have to specifically not capture a zone so the game lasts long enough for you to, because it's in Iron Banner, it's either one way or the other. You get stomped or they stomp you, you know, a lot of times. And so you're like, I just need to get super kills.
Just try to complete a quest, man.
Lego, I didn't know I was going to say this sentence today, but I'm getting the Twitlonger ready.
Exposed. And you know, that kind of leans into one of the things that I think needs to change most about Iron Banner, the game mode. It's not just the reward structure that needs a revamp. The game mode needs to change. We don't need nonstop Iron Banner control anymore. It doesn't need to be a thing. It wasn't a thing in D1. Bungie changed the game mode in there often. Sometimes it was Clash, sometimes it was Rift, sometimes it was Supremacy. Well, actually, was it ever Rift? I know it was Supremacy.
Yes.
It was Rift,
It was
like
Rift
a
once.
couple times.
Yeah, and like we got like one Mayhem Iron Banner. I think we're well past time for Bungie to go ahead and flip the switch there, and even if it's a rotating playlist, like 1 week it's one week it's Clash, 1 week it's Supremacy if they ever bring that back. 1 week it's Control. It doesn't need to just be Control anymore.
Man, remember, I miss Supremacy, and it's mainly because of the sins of the early team in Destiny 2, right? Because like it was every other match, and people were getting very upset about that. I remember that distinctly.
Right.
But like it doesn't get the amount of love that it should, I think.
Yeah. It's just Clash. Yeah.
I don't like Supremacy. I don't know why. I just don't like it. Add it to my Twitlonger.
All right. And then Lego broke my heart.
Starting new paragraph.
Okay, here's why. It's because if you're a sniper or like if you play range with fusions, it's just so much harder to go and get the stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's the only reason why. Like I'm just not at least I used to not be a close range shotgun player. Now I'm a, rapid fire fusion player, so it's no problem. But
maybe you'll like it now.
In general. Yeah, maybe I'll like it now. But Rift, oh my gosh, I can't wait for Rift to come back and be an Iron Banner. That would be, I know this is super off topic from the Iron Banner original question, but Rift is just so much fun and something different. We need gun game or something, some fun party bag playlist or something to freshen the way, it just helps so much whenever you have a switch around like that.
Completely agree, and it's one of the things Iron Banner needs the most. It's not just a reward and reputation system change, which I 100% believe is coming. Like Light Razor said, Saladin is the last vendor, the last of a dying breed. Fitting, given Saladin's nature, but the last of the token vendors, and I 100% believe that they're going to be changing him up to be like all the other ritual playlist vendors. He's going to have a reputation system. We already have iron engrams. That's like one of the biggest signs that they're going to be making this change here.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Major weird prediction. Get ready, everybody. They retire Saladin.
Ooh.
And they bring in Lady Aphrodite.
Yes.
My girl.
Ooh.
Yes.
And that's how they change
People would be in.
Yeah. They bring Lady Aphrodite in with a new system. Everybody forgets about Saladin. Saladin's off somewhere, like on a secret mission in the dark of space. And like Lady Aphrodite comes in and she's like, I brought a whole new loot system for you. How do you feel? How do you feel?
Saladin goes back to the Plague Lands to secure Wrath of the Machine.
I love it.
There you go. There's a story.
Print the legend.
There is some story like potential with Saladin though that I really want to see because he's very like the old ways, and I want there's all these newcomers to the field and there's some like real world parallel you could make between the old ways of doing things and there is something to be learned from that, but the new ways, and the way and seeing the world through the new lens of the modern generation and they could do such story stuff and rather than him just being kind of the old ways being always right and you're strong and Iron Lord if you do that, like they could just do some really cool stuff there. So while I would love for Lady Aphrodite to come in, I hope if they do that, they at least do some narrative that they've built with Saladin where he's like, could see a new leaf rather than just be hardened by the old things that have happened to him.
Right. I think keep him around for the story. There's a lot more to be told there.
Yeah.
Interesting character,
Or Lady Aphrodite
Oh,
gets a
and-
voice line that's like, haven't heard from Saladin today.
Oh no.
I will say on the rewards, just one thing about the in-game like Iron Banner stuff. Yes, focus engrams, all the 9 yards. I would love to see focus engrams for all the vendors, just some sort of way
Yeah.
to get specifically the thing that you want using reputation or whatever, even if it's super expensive. If you want that trinary system fusion rifle from Gambit or bottom dollar, you have a way to get it through so many games rather than just be pure RNG, because everything else is kind of leading that way and we like it. Even you can throw
Yeah.
more perks on it, make it harder to get the role you want, and as long as we had a way to chase it, that's amazing. I love that we're heading in that direction. I hope they do it for everything.
Yeah, 100% agree.
So, the Jagmaster asks, does Shatter Dive need a retune to balance other stasis classes?
Yes. Get
Yeah.
rid of it. Get rid of it.
Really?
Get rid of it.
Really? I don't
It's
even main
still
it, and I'm
the most annoying thing.
Why is it that it has the 1 kill potential of landfall?
Yeah.
I can be far above a Shatter Dive crystal, and I'm dying just like I would if some Stormcaller landfelled me. Like,
Yeah.
get rid of it.
Keep
Get
my
rid
hunter
of-
strong, I say.
No, get rid of it.
It doesn't bother me. So just a little bit of background. I don't play Revenant Hunter like at all. When I play Hunter, I have a Titan main, first off, I guess. I should clarify. And I do play Behemoth a lot. But whenever I play Hunter, I don't play Revenant. I just play Bottom Tree. So more mental games here. Light's going to hate me for this. I play Bottom Tree, Night Stalker, and use the new buffed, what's the Graviton Forfeit. You can stay invisible for like 20 seconds. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you can make your team invisible. So you're like 3 that's ridiculous. But all that to say, the Shatter Dive doesn't bother me as much anymore. And I don't even play it. I just play against it. I don't know. Like, yes, there are kills where I'm like, ugh, like rolling my eyes, but I also feel like I probably shouldn't have pushed whenever it happens. So I'm like,
Right.
I'm not too against it, even though it is super, super strong still.
Yeah. If
My
you
problem
see a
is-
Revenant Hunter in the air, don't push.
Oh no, they come out of nowhere and then just Shatter Dive you immediately. There's
Yeah.
like they Shatter Dive you before the crystals pop up and you're dead.
Yeah.
like-
See, I feel like there's so much bait potential. Like when you see ice go down and there's Revenant Hunters, you just wait for them to just duck hunt, and just shoot them down. I don't know. It's nice.
I would say it is still pretty prevalent in Crucible. Maybe needs a little bit of a tuning. I'm not going to go as far as Light and say remove them, but I think it does still need a little bit of tuning because Light Rays is 100% right. It is the frequency with which they can do it and the radius of damage that you take from it is still unreal. It's a very powerful ability.
Yeah, like if you look at like Trials Report or wherever, like how many hunters do you play like match that aren't Revenants doing Shatter Dive? Because I know for a fact I haven't matched. I maybe matched 1 Goldie, maybe
Matched 1 Goldie too.
Night Stalkers, and 20 Arc Staff spamming Shinobus that I just put Risk Runner on, so it's not a problem. And then the rest of them are Revenants, and at least 2 Revenants per team, very common.
Yeah, I ran into most of the hunters I faced in Trials were Revenant. I ran into 1 Golden Gun, and he missed every shot with this super. I felt bad for him, but yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of Shatter Dive boys.
I will admit though that this map just like it's not a good map for Goldie.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah, absolutely.
Like the
I was
melee
able to-
supers kind of get babied, especially with how
Yeah,
often
yeah.
the landfall.
Tell them the truth.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah,
What are you talking
100%
about?
agree.
Other than that, final question of the evening from the Lord of Questions himself, Gray Fox, 2K30. With 7 years of Destiny as a franchise, what was the moment that you had that made you go, you know what, I'm all in? Or the moment that keeps you coming back for more?
Oh man.
I got multiple points for this.
All right.
Oh, well, then
choose
lead
a
us
couple.
out of the gate, man. Pick some. Let's go.
All right. So when I first got Destiny, like all the way back at the start, but I was at college, so I couldn't play it. Stuff happened, and I just like took a break from gaming in general. Came back after burning myself out on COD forever. And
I feel that.
And taking spring, like Master Prestige, Black Ops 3. Like I can't play Call of Duty anymore.
No more boost jumps, please.
No, I loved it, but it's just COD is all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, like taking spring, like everything was just like, oh, everything's so new. This game is just so fun. And just like haven't left really since then. PvP wise, Trials the way it is right now, I have faith in Bungie again. I did not have.
Yeah.
I just took it. I haven't played this much Destiny PvP. Like it's what, like 20 hours this weekend. I haven't played that much in like
that's a part-time
since
job.
comp base.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm happy that we know that there wasn't a PvP team like for 2 years. That answers so many questions. They're on full cylinders right now. I'm happy to be with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll echo that. Like the fact that there's like cycles that they like for both PvE, like with dungeons and raids coming out every 3 months, and also like new Crucible maps and new like stuff that they're releasing on a schedule now. They're like got the gears turning. I'm like, where's my time gonna go? I'm just gonna lose it all to this game, you know. Like you said, part-time job. But then as far as like I got 2 things that stick out to me for like that, like Destiny sucked me in and what keeps me playing. And Hove in chat right now, he's heard this story 100 times. But like when I first played Destiny, I thought it was a like third person game only. Like from all the commercials, they always showed people in their supers, and I was like, I don't know, man. And all my friends were like, you know, this is the game, like, you know, this like people who made Halo. I was like, okay, you know, I'll try it. And as soon as I jumped in as first person, you got your gun, and then you have these abilities, and then I spawned my Sparrow for the first time, and I was like, whoa, this is it. This is the game. Because it just felt so smooth, and it just appeared like Tron-like in front of you, and everything was so seamless. And that, dude, I loved it. So I was hooked from there. But then nowadays, what keeps me coming back every time, like you said, Trials right now, but also like the Trials moments with friends, PvP moments for me with friends, like the guy who thought they'd never make it to the lighthouse. And I had a last season, all my friends had already gotten flawless, and I was trying to get the gilded flawless done, and so I had to get somebody new, but I was never on at the right times to help carry somebody, so I just went on BNet, and anybody who hadn't gone flawless, I was just trying to find somebody to like, maybe we could make it happen. And I found 2 guys who hadn't played for the last like 3 seasons, and they were like, yeah, we'd love to. And so I hooked up with them, and we played all that weekend, couldn't make it. We hopped on the next weekend, and we finally made it to the last round of the last card. And we ended up facing some like 3 KD, 4 KD players. And we were like, no, we already used our mercy. There's no way. And somehow we just turned it on and shut them down. And this is it. You know, like it was just like they were just like teabag him, yeah. You know? Then that's just the way it goes. You know, everybody's so hyped, and they haven't made it to the lighthouse in so long, and it's just those moments. You know, I'm gonna come back next season just to get more people to the lighthouse, just to play with friends, like we did this Friday with the new Trials event, that kind of stuff. My whole clan, even the PvE side of Resolute, is getting into Trials now, which is stuff like that is, and I've heard stories like that from other people. Stuff like that just keeps you coming back when you got friends playing, new hype moments. That's what it's about.
No, absolutely. I think nobody could have said it better than that. It's the moments like that that really keep people coming back to this game year after year for 7 years. I know that was the thing that really kind of brought me into the fold. I was a guy who started playing Destiny during the beta, really enjoyed it, thought it was a good time, figured it would be good enough to at least take my attention away from Advanced Warfare a little bit. And when the game fully came out, I started playing it and just found myself coming back day after day after day after day after day. I loved it. Like you said, when you went out into the patrol space and you pull up your Sparrow for the first time, I was like, oh, it's like that. Just the entire world, the immersion of it, the experience of it, the gunplay. I loved everything about it. But the moment that just completely locked me in was after I had beaten the initial story, that first 8 hours of gameplay and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just playing for fun. I'm just running around completing bounties randomly. And suddenly this weird thing drops into my inventory. This Vanguard Mentor Missive is what they used to call those quests. It's like, what is this? I go Googling, I don't find anything about it. And it's asking me to go get like a bunch of void kills in Crucible and stuff like that. And it sends me on this wild ride that culminates in a special version of the Fogoth the Untamed strike on the moon, where I have to kill some crazy witch, and then rewards me with this hand cannon called Thorn. It was like a good 5-hour period of rushing through this quest, finding stuff, because again, there were no guides out. This is like the first week of Destiny. There were no guides out. I'm sitting there trying to figure out what's going on here, trying to collect these things, going into Crucible with my comedian to try to cheese up some void kills back when you could lose points for dying. It was just such an incredible immersive experience that gave me this hand cannon that wasn't great at first, got a whole lot better 3 months down the road. But I loved it. I was like, oh my, it's what inspired me to start making content for the game, because it was like, man, like this game has secrets. It has things to do. It's got collaborative efforts in it. It's got experiences that I love going through. Everybody can remember their first Vault of Glass or their first raid experience in Destiny. It's just created so many memories. But some of those initial secrets in the game was how it initially hooked me. It's like, okay, I got to get all of these, and then super good advice dropped, and then the quest for Pocket Infinity dropped, and I'm looking for journal pieces all over the place to get this busted fusion rifle that everybody forgets existed. Those experiences that really define a lot of what Destiny provided for me, and 7 years later, still going strong.
Yeah, this was kind of the first MMORPG that I ever played. And it was at the library that I was working at. The library that I was working at rented out games, which is a real cool thing for a public library to do. Support your public library. And I picked it up. I think it was late by a week after I picked it up initially. But I ran through the story, I want to say, within a couple sessions over a couple days, and it was Mars. It was as soon as you go to Mars and the doors open up and the Cabal just start flooding in at you, I think that was the moment where I was just like, yeah, and I'm in. Okay, yeah, that's real cool, game. The
ball stomp starts playing.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was just such a cool moment, and I remember liking it a lot, and then I had my first raid experience, which took 6 hours, but was with a really lovely team of guys who took on somebody who didn't have a microphone at the time to just run through.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's those types of experiences along the way that have just kind of reinforced not only how much I love the game, but also the community, and then they both kind of just feed into one another, and it's so cool.
Yeah,
nothing else like it in all the years since. With all the Destiny killers that have come out since, there is nothing else like it.
So you still playing Outriders?
Anthem, by the way.
Anthem, by the way.
I'll tell you what though, I will be playing Battlefield 20. What is it? 2042.
Yeah, yeah.
That comes out
Yes.
soon.
Oh, yeah.
Battlefield. There's new Halo. Dude, there's so much good stuff. I'm like
Yeah.
relieved almost that Witch Queen isn't right away. But you're right.
Yeah.
Nothing like Destiny. No matter what you play, you keep coming back.
100% agree. I think I think that's absolutely on the money. It's been an incredible franchise over the last 7 years, and I'm really happy to see that Bungie didn't decide to move away from it.
Yeah.
Because they had all the excuse
Yeah.
in the world to after the lackluster launch of Destiny 2, kind of bringing things back together with Forsaken. They could have ended things on a high note and said, let's move on to our next franchise. They decided to stick with Destiny 2, and they're sticking with it for the foreseeable future, and I could not be happier about it. The future, the sky is the limit with this franchise. We're branching out into TV shows and movies. We've got a bunch of other expansions coming, and then who knows after that. And I'm going to be playing this game, this franchise, this series, this experience for as long as they've got stuff coming forward. 7 years. 7 years of Destiny. Looking forward to another 7 in the future. But all right, I think, is that the last question?
That is the final question of the evening.
The final question of the evening, which means that brings us to the end of episode 293 of the Planet Destiny podcast. This has been a good one. We got to talk a whole lot about Trials, which is something I didn't really expect to do from a person who's completed a card. I didn't expect to approach it from that sort of standpoint, but I got a chance to do that this weekend, having a lot of fun with it. Might go back and play another card before the weekend is over, because there's still some rewards I want to get in there and get. Very special thanks to our special guest tonight, Lego. Thanks so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a blast being here, guys. So enjoyed talking with y'all.
Ditto. It was amazing having you here for the show. You have a great perspective on a lot of this stuff, and it was great to hear it throughout the night. Before we get on out of here, of course, we are going to allow you to take the floor and present yourself to the audience. Tell them where they can find you all across the internet for all of the things that you do.
Sure, yeah. You can find me at legoleflash, legoleflash, on Twitter or YouTube. I'm not gonna say Twitter. Like every once in a while, I'm like, oh, let's get on Twitter. No, I'm not gonna be on Twitch. So you can find me on YouTube, probably like twice a year, putting out a very stylized video. Last one was with Big Daddy Teej, and if you haven't heard his voice impressions, incredible. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter talking hot takes about Trials or Fusion Rifles or anything else PvP related. I'd be happy to hit out a card with anybody soon. I'm just, this is so good. I just want to play Trials. So you can find me there, or you can find me potentially this week watching Shang-Chi again, because oh my gosh, the movie's so good. I can't wait to, if I can safely go watch it again, that's where I will be.
Right on, right on. Make sure you guys go and check them out. I'm going to get you that movie of the week. It's going to happen. It's got to happen.
Oh, I mean, when a new emblem comes out, we'll get another one. I gotta wait first.
Right on. Thanks again so much for joining us tonight. It was fantastic having you here. I guess other than that, Light Racer, how you doing, buddy?
Hey.
Where you at, dog?
I'm on Light Razor DD on everything. Planet Destiny on Saturday mornings. And I'm probably going to be doing Trials out for the foreseeable future. Back to those old days.
Back to the grind again.
Indeed.
Told y'all at the beginning of the show, I wasn't kidding. I was spying on this man. He was in Trials non-stop. And it looks like that's going to be the way it's going moving forward. But good. It's fun to be in there now. It's rewarding to be in there now. And I think this weekend has shown what an incredible success some of the changes Bungie has made has wound up in. Good stuff. Make sure you go check out Light Racer. You doing carries?
Yes.
Get that loot. Get that free loot. Right on. Dan, what about you, man?
Oh, hi. My name's Danfinity. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Danfinity, where the eyes are L's. You can find me. Oh, you can also find me on TikTok there, where I've been posting more recently. Enjoy the content. You can find me on Twitch 3 days a week, twitch.tv/Danfinity. We're doing more like Raid Sherpa help stuff all throughout. So just hit me up. This past week, we had Briar Rabbit on Beardo. That was a really fun episode.
yeah.
And this upcoming week is an Ask Me Anything, where you could ask me anything. You could ask me anything right now. I'll answer it during that episode. What about you, TBL?
Sounds like a lot of fun. Make sure you guys are going and checking that out. As for me, of course, my name is The Black Link. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at The Black Link. Getting back to more regular content over on the YouTube channel, had a couple videos come out this week. Of course, all the Destiny news stuff is going to be going up on the Planet Destiny YouTube channel at youtube.com/Planet Destiny. Make sure you're staying tuned for all the newest bits of news and content that are coming out. We've got weird stuff going live every single week with this exotic quest and like the Ascendant anchors and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you're staying tuned to PD's YouTube channel to keep up to date with all of that. But all right, everybody, that is it for episode 293 of the Planet Destiny podcast, your guide to This Week in Destiny. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you got yourself some good Trials loot, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye, everybody.
Peace.